Hey guys, welcome back to New Player Blitz. It's your host, Bovine Emperor here. So today is actually more about just the basic foundation of just getting some money started for yourself. This doesn't really involve anything to do with like a value pack or anything to do with real money purchases. Just something to get you started and hopefully something to keep you going just before, you know, things start amping up into craziness. So obviously this world is quite intimidating to a new player when you have this many icons on the freaking map. It's just like, you're like, what the hell is going on? Don't worry too much about this kind of stuff. This is just something that's, you know, accumulated over time of just like playing the game. You can probably reach there someday yourself too. Just enjoy your experience as you're going there from the beginning. But first off, obviously, you're going to need to figure out, oh, what should I do to make some money or whatever. I've already suggested fishing earlier on. I also suggest splitting your things into two characters, one character for life skilling, one character for combat, just because of the game system that offers a transport system. When you hit disconnect, you can transport a character. Assuming you're in a town, you can go to any other discovered town that you've gone, and it takes 1 hour to move that character. So if you have your character fishing in Grana, for instance, as I suggested, you probably just run straight down here in a beeline and discover this magical place. And then pick up a battle nostra and just start fishing there overnight on your life skill character. Then when you wake up in the morning, you transport this character to Velia. I assume you probably don't have a ship to really take it out way out there yet anyway, so you might want to just dunk it into Velia. Make sure that this is connected. It's going to cost you some CP, probably around maybe 50 or so CP, or I think it's less than that, but in any case, connect that to Velia and then just start trading off your fish and then just transport that character back there already, and then go back on your main and start discovering stuff and combat and kill monsters and whatsoever. Just to get yourself started on something simple, very easy to do, not too much involvement with much of anything else. And the fishing character should have some inventory slots to hold more fish as it fishes overnight. The other thing is farms. Farms is something very easily done and easily started. You just need CP, really. There's no real requirement except for Master 1 for the high-end fences. Once you've discovered enough NPCs, click on the NPC finder here in the magnifying glass in the top right. Just type in fence, and you can see what fences you can rent out from certain NPCs. You can click it and you'll be auto-path to the NPC that rents it out for you. You probably want 10 fences just to start off with, and this is something you can get started on, and it's very easy to do. You literally just plant seeds. You can probably buy some from the marketplace when people sell them, and just put the fences down and drop the seeds in there and just keep tending to it from time to time. Your fences won't look anything like mine. This is what high-end farming looks like. These are old moon fences. They have 10 slots in them each, and they're very small for compactness. So basically, if I water this center one, it'll water all 90 slots around my character here and from the middle. So it's just more or less ease of maintenance, and also the fact that I have magical seeds which occupy 5 slots. Yours is probably going to look like it has 10 seeds per fence if you have a 10 slot fence, or a lot more seeds to manage than mine does. But it'll also be a great source of hard and sharp shards just for yourself to get started. What you do with those, you can sell them for more cash if you want, or you could use it to upgrade your upcoming gear that is needs to go beyond plus 15 into Pride Duo Tri-Tet Pen. So that's where some of those materials can come from. On top of that, Imperial Alchemy or cuisine is something you should also look into. I especially recommend the basic product ones, like anything that has apprentice or skilled or professional. Most of these products are very easily made. They aren't very difficult to create, and most of the times the recipes are also inexpensive, and you get more money out of them than you do with anything else. Although, of course, other people are doing it, so you do kind of have to try and fight with them over the drop-off points in like Olvia, Heidel, Calphion. Depending on where you live, try and craft them where you are going to trade them off. There's one in Altanova, there's one in Heidel, there's one in Calphion, there's one in Camasilvia, one in Valencia, and one in Olvia. So those are the 5 drop-off points for those products. Generally, you want to make the food and then also package them there. If you just need to figure out what needs to be made, or either that just kind of recipes, you can hit F2, or you can hit escape and go to the info and function and click crafting, and the crafting notes will find it for you here. So say like you need to find out how to make suit tea or whatever, you just type in suit or whatever, and it'll give you the material list here of what it takes to make it. Tea with strong scent or tea with fine scent, you can click this as well. It goes into a sub craft So this thing takes like two kinds of different crafts. Like one, you have to make the tea with fine sand to be able to make the healthy suit tea or whatever. So you have to compound, and then as the more you craft, the more items you're going to get. It's going to multiply all the time, always upwards. So things that have a lot of sub recipes to make like the final product, you're generally going to multiply that like almost like 2 or 3 times over before you actually get it there. So you, in the end, if you have like 900 crafts of each, you're going to end up with maybe even like 3,000 or 4,000 of those things at the end, or kind of thing. And that could be a lot of money for yourself as well, but that's also a lot of hassle, especially stuff like meals, like Valencia meals or whatever like that, or any kind of meal. Generally this will occupy about 22 of your storage slots. 22 just for all the materials and all the things. On average, it's about 22 slots. That's including the byproducts that you craft from it and all these other things. So just to keep in mind, you might not want to jump into those things early on. And the other thing is why I'm telling you to do the more basic apprentice style types of Imperial boxes, is because these you get the most for your money, and also you don't really want to craft the high-end stuff while you're low level, because when you're low level you also spawn less of the blue procs or the special types of meals, and those could be extra money that's just out of your pocket because you haven't met the threshold level to spawn those out of your crafts yet. So once you get higher and higher levels, like say towards master, then you maybe want to start looking at stuff that was in the artisan category, or stuff that was like in the it says on the items as well too, like what's gonna cause it to spawn. Say for instance Kama Sylvia meals, to make the special ones you're gonna have to be master level 6 and up or something like that. But then in this, yeah, it's gonna be master level 6 and up in order to spawn Kama Sylvia meals. So if you're like crafting those while you're master 5, you're just losing out on a lot of special Kama Sylvia meals that could have been spawned in addition to your current meals, which is why I tell you to do the apprentice level Imperial stuff first. It's also unaffected by much of any kind of marketplace tax or anything to do with players. Doesn't rely on the marketplace. The only thing it relies on is you knowing the time frame. It resets every 3 hours on a random number of channels, and on the dot, by the way. So other players who are also in keen with this time will also be camping those things. There's a 10-minute cooldown after channel switching or character switching before you can interact with the NPC, so you might want to go there 10 minutes before it resets and pray that that channel resets. So those are just some things to get started with. In terms of basic foundation, especially farming is in Black Desert. This is literally the activity where money just grows upon nothing. And it is literal cash that just grows from nothing. You don't need to set up anything else other than you just need a surplus of CP. You don't need any kind of weird node connection or world connection like I have here. So the things I mentioned here, Imperial and farming mostly, has zero reliance upon anything. You don't have to set up any kind of network. The only thing with Imperial is that you probably need to figure out where to get some of these materials to craft some of these things. And most of the time they're nearby in the vicinity of the towns that you start with. Maybe like dried fish or whatever for apprentice fried fish is like by the islands here, just by Portaferia. And for mostly the other things like grains and whatever, they're all around Velia and Heidel. They're all easily accessible, and that's just what I'm going to leave you with. So hopefully that kind of sets you off in the right direction. And also when you go into your room and craft or whatever, when you're crafting these things, you can also search up the recipe much more easily. I know some of the experienced players in my guild, when they changed it, they weren't even aware of this. When you talk to your utensil or whatever, you can type in part of the word to actually search up a recipe that you've already learned. If you haven't learned it, then just fill in the materials, craft it the one time, and it'll unlock the knowledge. So if I wanted to filter out all the meals, I just type meal, and this will get me all the meals or whatever. Or you don't even have to type the capital M. Capitalization does matter here, I don't know why. You can just type eel if you want, or like ill for all the grilled stuff and fish fillet stuff. So you don't really need to type in the whole word. You can just type in part of the word, or the letters that are in that word, as long as you know what it's called. Some resources that I use is like BDO Codex, BD Database, and somethinglovely.net as a library resource, because the game's own search system is a little wonky and weird in terms of crafted item and whatnot. Like if I want to find out where potatoes are found, it's not really very intuitive of how this is designed. It just more or less shows me all the workshops and places that I can craft potato crates from, and this is just pointless because nobody really has much of a purpose for that. Like or type potato here, it doesn't show up anything. So that's why I use those third-party library resources, and I recommend you go use it too if you're curious about certain things. But that's the gist of this video, guys. So I hope this helped you out, and I will catch you later in the next video about gear. Bye bye for now.